Wow, the sports world's getting busy right now. You got the NBA in, you got NHL in, college football in, NFL. This is it, guys.
Frozen frenzy last night.
Prime time.
3, 2, 1.
All right, guys, we are back. Week 9, college football. Week 8 of the NFL. NBA kicking off. Hockey in. It doesn't get any better than this time of the year. I'm Scott Matthews. This is the one and only Get the Edge Sports Podcast. And I am here with my boys, ready to do it again. We need to get some winners. We got to pick up our game a little bit. Last week, we were a little off, all of us. But you know what? We had a couple of key games that did work out. And I'm going to introduce my main man right next to me here, the CEO of the Sports Prophet, Teddy Brooks.
Yep. Scotty, 2-2 last week.
We crushed him, though, on Indy, though.
What's that?
We crushed him on Indy.
We crushed him on. That was what a win that was. You know what really killed me? The Buccaneers injuries. Did you see that game?
Lost their best players.
2 of their best receivers, star receivers. You can't win when you lose both your star receivers.
No, in the same game. Well, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little blinded, but he's here with us on set again. My man, the one and only TK Wins, Tommy King in the house.
Yep, getting ready for another week of NFL, college football, basketball in full swing in the NBA. I know you like the shirt, Scott. We got to get Robert Graham to send us a few freebies if they're watching the show.
I'm telling you, they should be sending you like a whole wardrobe of stuff with you're giving them a good prop over there. Yeah, we got a crazy week, guys. I mean, think about what's going on in the sports world right now. NBA kicked off last night on Tuesday. Celtics, the defending champions, come out, boom, straight ahead and crush the Knicks in opening night. We got NBA in gear right now. We got the NHL hockey, getting into gear, and college and pro football. I mean, the World Series coming up this week.
Friday night.
Which
big time in sports. And you got another big wide receiver trade today. Did you guys see that?
No, I did not catch it.
DeAndre Hopkins is
going again
to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, wow. Like the Chiefs need anybody else,
The rich
right?
get richer, as they say.
Yeah. Well, that's a steamroll going right there. I mean, even Mahomes not even on his A game, and that team is just dominating the NFL right now, 6-0.
Yeah, he's not even playing great football.
Yeah, the only team left in the NFL that's 6-0. Hey, we lost a great baseball player. I don't want to start the show off, like that, but Fernando Valenzuela, because obviously Yankees and, they're connected with the Yankees and the Dodgers back 40 years ago, and I was at that game with Fernando pitching against Dave Righetti. Fernando late last night, they announced that he passed away at age 63.
Young.
God rest his soul, Fernando. He was some character, I'll tell you. Unbelievable. Did you have a chance to watch him pitch?
I never seen him live pitch.
Never saw him live?
Nope, never saw him live.
Yeah, he was something else. He was a character in baseball, and he got the Dodgers moving back in the 80s. He was Fernando, what do they call it? Fernando Mania, something like that. But, unfortunate, 63. We lose Pete Rose recently and Fernando Valenzuela, Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame. Eventually, he will get in the Hall of Fame. But, guys, listen, we got a lot of stuff going on. It's a crazy busy day today. And I know I don't know if you guys want to talk about football right this second, or you want to talk a little baseball. What's on your minds?
Well, I'm sitting here. I've been going back and forth on who I think is going to win the World Series. I've had people messaging me, calling me, asking me my opinion, and it's been tough for me to say, but I was talking about this before, but some of the starting pitching issues with the Dodgers still concern me. What do you guys think?
Well, the Dodgers are still favored in the series, minus 130 to open it up at. I don't really care because I got tickets on both games, Yankees and the Dodgers to win the World Series. They pay roughly about the same, so it really doesn't matter to me.
It was a plus one.
I'm a Dodgers fan, so I'm a Dodgers fan. A plus 650 and plus 700. So
you're sitting pretty.
Sitting pretty.
Sitting pretty.
I got a strong opinion. I'm going to bet the Yankees to win the World Series.
I go Dodgers in 6.
I think the Yankees, it's this year. It's their year. It's been 15 years. I just saw them steamrolling into the I saw them steamrolling right through the playoffs. I picked them to get to the World Series. Now they're in it. I think they're going to handle the Dodgers somehow, some way. I mean, they both have great lineups. We know that. And the pitching, might be a little edge maybe slight edge for the Yankees with the starting pitching. But I think the Yankees get the job done. I take them on the series price.
if you guys are looking for me to be the tiebreaker here, I was starting the playoffs off by saying I didn't trust the Yankees. But right now, I trust the Yankees more than the Dodgers because of that starting pitching issue. And what's really impressed me is Stanton. I mean, Stanton has been a strikeout king for a while, and he really stepped it up in this postseason. So if he keeps it going, you got Judge, you got Rizzo, and then Cano.
Yep.
You got all these guys just slamming the ball.
Yeah, Soto's crushing the ball.
Soto, that's what I was talking
Soto's
about.
killing the ball.
And if
you got Soto, Stanton, Judge, Rizzo. I mean, you can go all the way down their lineup. It's solid. They got a solid line. Soto and the Dodgers, though. This is the World Series that everybody wanted to see. With Ohtani against Judge and all the other characters in between, and the pitching and West Coast, East Coast. So they got the perfect matchup. The rating's going to be sky high for
parking pass is $4,000 just to park in New York. Just to park.
Wow.
That's not even including the ticket price, which is actually cheaper than the parking pass in New York. And
you guys have a pick? City. You have a pick on the series? I know you say you got both sides.
I go Dodgers in 6 for me.
He said Dodgers. You said Yankees, and then I did the tiebreaker, and I'm saying Yankees.
All right, there you go. All right, so we gave out a little something. I'm going to play the Yankees on the series line. I'm not going to play individual game at this point, but I'm going to play the Yankees, and that's I think it's even up right now. I think the Dodgers is minus 120. Yankees come back plus even 100. So I think that's a great. If you can get the Yankees even up the way they played all year, I'll take them. No doubt about it. But we got a lot of football coming up, man. A lot of football this week. Matter of fact, there's some major college football coming up all week long. But I know the guys have been doing their homework, including myself, on some key matchups. And I want to get right into it because, obviously the people want to hear what we have to say. And we need some winners this week for you guys out there. So I'm going to kick it off, my man TK. See what he's thinking about college football this week.
Well, college football, I'm going to jump right into it like I always do. I'm going to pronounce it right today. I'm going to say Oregon State's playing California. Current line, California is minus 9.5.
Are they really riding you on that?
They've been riding me. You should read all the messages.
Why? How are you saying
Oregon.
It? Oregon.
I said, so now I know how to say it. Oregon State.
Oregon.
So I know how to pronounce it right.
And they don't like guns.
But Oregon people from Oregon are brutal. They rip me apart all week.
Really?
Yep.
All right. Why is that though? I don't know. Do you get any flack on that? I don't know.
I told you. So
I'm East Coast.
I'll explain. I'm going to let TK finish his pick, and then I'm going to tell you guys some crazy stuff going on.
Well, on this one, I'm jumping on California. They're minus the 9.5. California coming off a big loss last week against NC State. They were laying 9 as well. Mm-hmm. But Oregon State. They're only 2-8 their last 10 against the spread. Cal 4-1 against the spread against a Pac-12 opponent. I'm going to jump on Cal. Look for a nice blowout at home on this game here on Saturday.
Okay. Then is that a key rated game wise? 3 to 5. What are you rating that game?
I put that as a 4-star unit. Both plays I put out are going to be 4-star unit ratings going into Saturday.
4-star.
4-star.
Okay. What other play did you have?
My second play is going to be the West Virginia Arizona game. Arizona currently 3-55. Mm-hmm. Both teams got blown out last week. West Virginia got blown out against Kansas State. Arizona, lost to Colorado. But I'm going to have a nice rebound with them here.
They might rip you a little with that Colorado kind of.
Colorado.
They might get on you there too. You gotta be careful.
It helps. All the comments help. Just keep putting them up.
That's it. Just keep winning.
Yeah, just keep winning. I'm gonna look for Arizona to rebound, lay the 3 points. West Virginia just 2-5 their last 7 against the spread. Arizona 5-1 their last six in week number 9. I'm jumping on Arizona, laying the 3 points at home. I'm going to get paid on that one. Arizona at home minus the 3.
You think they're due for a big bounce back? Because they got their ass kicked by Colorado last week.
Well, West Virginia got their ass kicked last week as well.
Right.
But Arizona home, they're looking for them to rebound. Get me paid on this one on Saturday night.
All right. Can you top that?
I didn't pick it, but I like that Arizona pick. I was definitely looking at it. But yeah, just talking about the social media thing. So I think I told it on here that when these apps that create the captions for the video, they don't always spell things right. And it doesn't mean that we spelled it wrong. The app's AI generates the word, and, we're busy. We're not going to sit there and nitpick words and edit them. So I'll get people that if a name of a player is spelled wrong or something spelled wrong on the caption, they just attack it. And, the thing is with social media, people are just nasty, man. I mean, they are. I love doing this. I'm sure you guys love doing this too.
Sure.
80% of the people are great. They appreciate what we do, but 10 to 20% of the people are just complete losers, nasty, probably have nothing going in their life. So, hey, it is what it is. But you know what I notice in real life? People aren't like that. In real life, people are a lot nicer than they are on the computer. That being said,
Yep.
I got 4 college picks. I got a Friday.
Oh boy.
Now I'm going light on NFL. I only got one NFL. So I got a Friday pick. I'm looking at this Louisville Boston College game. Boston College, they have a decent pass game, and that's about it. They don't generate quality possessions. Louisville's defense is 51st in quality possessions allowed. Virginia Tech tried handing Boston College the game last week. Boston College wouldn't take it. Louisville's offense, pretty potent. They're ranked 13 in EPA per play. Boston College's best secondary player is hurt. I think Louisville runs it up on them in this one, and I'm going with a big play here on Louisville. Not my best bet, though.
Mhm.
Moving to Saturday, I'm looking at the weirdest line, and I'm sure you guys might not be on this game, but you had to look at this line and say, what's going on here? UCF is a 1-point favorite against an undefeated, highly ranked BYU.
2 now.
2-point favorite now.
Yeah.
This is when you see trap line, fishy line, this has it written all over it. And this year in college, you got a lot more movement now that these conferences are changing. You got a lot more teams traveling, and BYU's traveling across the country to Orlando, Florida.
Right.
When teams travel in more than one time zone, they're doing very bad this year. So they're going from the mountain time all the way to Eastern time. I'm looking at this UCF team. I think they're better than their record shows. They're putting up 31 points a game, strong on offense, 6.6 yards per play, putting up 280 rushing yards per game. Their running back, R.J. Harvey. This is my best bet, UCF on the money line.
Really?
I guess you can't call it an upset because they're favored, but it's a weird line, and that's my play here.
Yeah, I think this is the type of game makes you scratch your head a little bit. BYU has been dominating this year, 7-0. UCF right now currently on a 4-game losing streak. They're finding ways to lose the games. BYU, like you said, that long journey going across the country, could that take a toll on them? Had a big emotional win coming back last week against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State fought them all the way to the other end. But, you got an undefeated team here ranked up there. You think they would come in there with a lot of emotions into this game to keep that undefeated season going. But, that's going to be an interesting play. It's you would think that BYU would be the favorite in a game like this. Yeah, they were early, but now, so there might be an injury. I'm thinking the wide receiver.
And the wide receiver's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting my neck on the line calling this one my best bet because it is a scary one. But listen, I don't think the odds makers are foolish.
I just don't like my thing, and listen, everyone has their own thing. You got your thing. TK's got his. I don't like betting bad teams to try to win for me. That's the only thing sometimes I fall into the trap, unfortunately, of trying to do that. But when a team's playing poor and they're finding ways to lose games, like UCS has been doing recently,
Well, I agree with one thing you said. They're finding ways to lose. But one thing I disagree with is I don't think they're a bad team.
No, they're not.
I think they're, like I said in the beginning, I think their record is showing much worse than they really are as a team.
Right. Okay. Anything else? That's your best bet?
That's my best bet. I'm also looking at TCU versus Texas Tech. This is going to be big-time rivalry game, big-time shootout. Texas Tech got mopped by Baylor. They were a favorite, and they lost like 59 to 20-something against Baylor. TCU squeezed a win out. TCU has a good team. They got an All-American wide receiver that they pulled over from LSU through the transfer portal. He's got 42 receptions on the year, 738 yards, averaging 17 yards a catch. I think they're going to light it up on him. Big-time shootout potential here. I'm looking at this TCU game. I haven't decided how I want to play it yet, but I'm looking at either potentially parlaying the money line TCU with the over, potentially playing them separate, but most likely I'm going to money line same game parlay, which we don't do that here very often, as you guys know.
Oh boy,
TCU
changing it up, huh?
Changing up. TCU on the money line, parlayed with the over 67. Don't be afraid of big numbers, guys. Ben, clip this. If you guys see a big number, a lot of amateur bettors, their natural instinct is to go underneath because they think they can't hit that big number. When you got a shootout game like this, do not be scared of the big number. I can see a 80, 90, maybe even 100 points in this game.
Okay. Sounds good to me, man. Sounds like you've done your homework. Did you have a clip?
That was the clip.
Oh, that
Don't
was.
be afraid of big
Oh,
numbers.
I got you. Okay, I thought there was going to be something popping up. All right, guys, listen. I got a couple of games I really, really like this weekend in college football. I think I've done my homework on these. The big matchup in the SEC, obviously, is this game between LSU and Texas A&M. Both of these teams playing outstanding right now. LSU winning 6 in a row, finding ways to win. Texas A&M, same exact mirror image. But I think I've got the right number on this game. When you wake up, someone like myself, when I see a number when it first comes out, it just hits me like a brick wall. And this game was one of those type of games that hit me that way. I think LSU in this spot, I know the 12th man is a brutal place to play. I just think LSU is a notch a little bit better than Texas A&M overall on both sides. I like this play a lot. I think LSU's going in there. They're going to continue their winning ways. It's a live dog. It's not even really much of a dog because if you think about it, 2.5 in a place that normally you get a home field advantage of about at least 3.5. So this is a short number on teams that are both ranked up there very high. And I like LSU in this spot. I think they're going to get the job done. I wouldn't even think twice to make this line +3 or 3.5. Probably go to 3.5 from 2.5. I think LSU is a live dog, and I'm jumping on LSU to get the job done, continue their winning ways. That's what I think that's one of the best bets on the board for Saturday. You guys look at that game at all?
I love Nussmeier and what he's doing this year, the quarterback for LSU. So I like that play just based. Sometimes you look at one player and that player makes the difference in that game, and I think he can make the difference in that game.
Just seems like the SEC is dominating the big matchups week to week. There's a perfect example. This game here is probably the top. They're not like in the top 5 or top 5 in the country, but they're ranked. These teams are one, I think, 7 or 8. The other one's ranked in the top, 13. So this is the key matchup in college football. And again, it's coming out of the SEC conference. All right, a team I made a lot of money with last week, same as you, Teddy. I'm coming right back with Indiana. I just don't see anyone stopping this team. They're averaging 48 plus a game. 48 guys. I don't care who they played. They are finding ways to steamroll everyone. And when everyone thought Nebraska was going to be their stiff competition so far this year, you saw what they did to them. They absolutely ass-kicked them. I think they're going to beat Washington. I don't think Washington has a lot to offer. To be honest, they're an up-and-down so-so team at best. Yeah, last year they made it to the national championship game. This program is not the same as last year's. Indiana 7-0, just dominating everybody in front of them. I don't see how Washington can stay in this game with that high-powered offense Indiana's. I would make this game 6. I jump all over Indiana. I think they blow them out and win easily.
Yeah, I like that, and especially because it's not like they had a hard-fought game against Nebraska. They breezed through.
The game was over when they kicked off.
Yeah.
It was a done deal. And everyone thought, a lot of people out there were questioning me on that play, thinking, oh, Nebraska's played much better competition. The Indiana hasn't really played anyone. Guys, you don't have to really play anyone when you're dominating. When you're doing everything right on offense, the only thing that's going to hurt you is if you hurt yourself. And they're not finding ways to lose games. They're finding ways to dominate games. So I'm going to stick with them because I just feel they're in that zone right now. So I like Indiana. And one other play I'm going to use, I used them last week as well on the show. I'm going to come right back with SMU. I think they're going to absolutely beat up on Duke. Duke's a good team. They're both 6-1. Don't get me wrong. But this SMU team, I think, is a lot sharper and a lot more potentially dangerous than a team like Duke. They scoring 41 points a game. Duke can't score 41 points a game. I'm not saying they're going to score 41 against Duke, but I think they're going to find ways to keep Duke from scoring, and they're going to find ways to score points like they've been doing all season. 4-0 on the road. I like SMU in this game. Lay the 11. If you can bring it down to 10, I make it an even 10. 11's okay. You know what? I'm even okay with 11 because I think they win this game by about 17-20. I just think they're too much firepower, too strong right now against a team like Duke, because Duke's the type of team, they get into these dogfight games. Sometimes they don't come out right, and then they depend on their defense. I don't think they're going to be able to depend on their defense against a team like SMU. So take SMU, guys. That's my best and final play for college football. 3 games.
I like that. They're going to make a push in this ACC conference here. They're number 3 right now. They got Clemson and Miami ahead of them.
Yeah.
They could make a move.
Yeah. Well, listen, my philosophy, like I'm sure you guys, you want to ride hot teams, right? You want to ride teams that seem like they are on the upscale, not teams that are flatlining or going downward at this time of the year, especially because they could give it up at this time of the year. You're 7, 8 games into the season. You're not playing well. What's going to turn it around for you? You're going to have to win the next four games in a row, maybe have a shot to even get into a playoff picture, not even the playoffs, but, a bowl picture. So I like the way these teams are playing. I'll take a shot with teams like this all day long.
I'm going to throw in one more game because I had one more in college. This Northwestern-Iowa game, Northwestern does not look good. They struggle offensively. I don't see them bouncing back here. Iowa definitely kind of below expectations for the year. They were expecting to be a playoff contender and very strong. But I look at a similar matchup. Northwestern played Washington, lost 24-5. Iowa played Washington, beat them 40-16. Northwestern's 1-5 against the spread in their last 6. I'm liking Iowa a lot. It's a tough place to play. I think Iowa gets a big blowout here and covers this one. Low-scoring blowout.
I wanted to ask you guys. I mean, not that anyone has an official call on it, but what do you think of the line they made? Notre Dame 6-1 against.
That's funny. I was just going to ask about the game.
The Naval Academy.
We talked about that last week. Bookmakers
undefeated,
giving no respect to Navy in this game.
13
There's got to
points.
be a reason why. I mean, I'm not using the game either, but Notre Dame could probably just run them out. That's my opinion, and I'm not using it as a play. But Notre Dame's a good team.
It's a big number against a team that's
13.
This Navy team is no slouch. I mean, they're finding ways.
6-0.
They're another team that just seems to be moving in the right direction. But they always have troubles against teams like Notre Dame in the past. Notre Dame has kind of manhandled the Naval Academy in the past. But, yeah, it's good to see Army and Navy. Think about it, guys. Both undefeated this deep into the season and both cracking the top 25 teams in the country. But this is going to be by far the big test for Navy. If they can pull up beating, what's your thoughts here? If Navy finds a way to beat Notre Dame, I mean, that's going to be interesting as far as, seeing they're going to move way up the polls.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the military academies besides Air Force doing well. Navy's covered every spread this year except for the Week 1 versus Bucknell, where they were favored by 31 and they only won by 28. But
Go ahead.
Besides that, I mean, listen, Notre Dame's had some disappointments. They've bounced back since that loss against, I think it was Northern Illinois that beat them. So, listen, like TK said, the odds makers know what they're doing here. They might be trying to pull people in to bet Navy because everybody's talking about Navy right now.
Well, if you look at numbers, and I'm just looking at some of these numbers, Navy's averaging 440 yards total offense per game, where Notre Dame is 406 roughly. Notre Dame's averaging about 35 points a game, but Navy's averaging close to 45 points a game. The defense is the key here, though. The defense for Notre Dame is much, much superior than the Naval Academy.
And how's their run
100%.
defense? Because the running is what Navy does. Navy's a running team. If you look at Navy's, the hardest team that they've faced is Memphis. Look at the rankings of their other. So they played Temple. They're ranked 124th. They've played UAB. They're ranked 119th. They've played Air Force. They're ranked 123rd, and they've played Charlotte, ranked 112th. So I think that's a big factor.
But let me ask you, Teddy, what's the difference if you think about it? I mean, yeah, they're not playing maybe the Cal, but they haven't had to play them. But look what they're doing with the people they are playing. They are just dominating them.
They are.
And they're showing up, and they're moving the ball. They're not making turnovers. They're finding ways to control the games. So I'm not saying, they can do that against a team like Notre Dame, obviously. But I wouldn't be surprised if they can hang in there with a team like Notre Dame, especially 13
tough.
points.
Yeah, 13 points. Did anybody look at the Florida State-Miami game this week? Miami's a team that's moving it up as well.
Wide left, wide right? Which one?
A 21-point favorite, Miami. I'm going to go to the game on Saturday night, play at 7 o'clock at the High Rock.
Classic matchup. Used to be back in the day. That game a lot of times decided who's going to be the national championship,
It was
too.
always a 3-point spread.
those teams were always top 10, top 5 back in the day. Not so much anymore. Florida State really fell apart.
Before we go to the NFL, I just want to get you guys' take. Thinking right now, number 1 team in the nation, Oregon. You agree with that right now at this point, Oregon?
Oregon, yeah.
Oregon?
Yeah,
Excuse
Oregon.
me.
They're
Don't write me, guys. Don't write me.
yeah, they got a high-powered offense in that team.
You think they should be the number 1 team in the country at this point? I mean, yeah, they beat Ohio State, but the guy doesn't slide down.
What ranking? Because I think
They were
in
4,
one poll, I think in one poll they're number 1, and I think in another poll,
was it Georgia?
Georgia's number 1. But
you know, Georgia's always going to get
right. I mean, I think, in my opinion, if you put Georgia against Oregon right now, I think Georgia would win. But
the way they looked last week, I would agree.
They both have great coaches. You know, you got Dan Lanning for Oregon, very, very good coach. He's part of the Nick Saban tree of coaches.
Sarkisian.
So, Steve, that's Texas.
Oh, Texas.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry about
but
that.
You got that Nick Saban tree.
Kirby Smart.
And Dan Lanning.
Right.
So, could very potentially be
I would
the
bet
championship game.
on Kirby Smart. He's just been around too many big games, and he's got the job done more than the coach for.
Did you see his
Oregon.
speech after that game? He was fired up. He was talking smack about ESPN. He said, "You guys wrote us off," and
everyone picked the other side.
Everyone picked Texas.
You got to watch out for
Teddy.
Penn. I think it was my pick at the beginning of the year. We got to watch out for Penn State as well. Penn State's playing good football.
You picked them to win the national championship.
Picked them to win the national. Remember, if you remember at the beginning of the year, so Penn State's gonna be one of the top teams to be in a national championship. So they're playing good football.
I think we covered it all, man. I think we covered
good
all
college football talk this week. Hope you guys take some of that and run with it. Make some money,
guys. This time of the year, you got to just be you got to be very careful what you're doing on these decision makings, because a lot of these teams, like I try to bring out to you, a lot of these teams, some of them are moving in different directions than others. And you don't want to be trying to, chase after these teams that are, due to win factor, because they may not win. They may not win. They may keep losing. Yeah, they might cover a point spread, but if you guys thinking, just because they're losing, they're going to turn it around, from past history, that's not the way to think. You got to really stick with these teams that are executing and finding ways to win the games. And a lot of these teams are covering the spread. So look for the right matchups, guys. Don't be just chasing after anything. All right. Well, the big boys are going on Sunday, and I know you guys have done your homework on the NFL. We got some big, decent matchups this week, not like the marquee ones that were last week, but I'm sure you guys have looked at the whole board and come up with your decision. I'm going to start with you, my man, Teddy. See what you're thinking for the NFL.
NFL kicked my butt last week. I don't know if YouTube will shut us down for saying ass. I don't care. Whatever. They're fine. But
no, they won't coach. They won't.
I got to bounce back this week in the NFL, so I'm just gonna keep it to one play. I'm looking at the Eagles-Bengals game. This is a matchup of.
Oh, I'm curious to see who you're liking that.
It's a matchup of teams who are both disappointing people this year. I think you guys would agree with me. Everyone expected more from both of these teams. 66% of the tickets and 71% of the money is on the Eagles. The Eagles' passing offense has been weak. It's 22nd in the league in passing. It's 22nd in the league in red zone offense. 23rd in the league in third down offense. The only part of their offense that really looks strong right now is their run game with Saquon Barkley, who's very impressive, including a blowout against the Giants last week.
He came home, didn't he?
He came home and he showed them who's boss.
That was a huge game for the Eagles last week.
It was a bounce back game.
The Giants, it would have been.
It was a must-win game. Now Cincinnati's passing offense, kind of the opposite. Cincinnati has the big-time passing offense. They're 8th in the league in production and passing, 28th in the league in rushing. That's not good. But they're 9th in the league in red zone. They have great weapons around the 20-yard line and beyond. That's what the red zone is for those of you who are amateurs here. And they have good third down offense as well. I think the Bengals, while their defense is bad, their running game is bad, I do think they're getting a little bit healthier on defense. Mm-hmm. They held Nick Chubb down last week for the Browns. Even though they didn't impressively beat the Browns, they let the Browns kind of stick around without even their starting quarterback. But, I'm looking at the Bengals to come in. They're home. I think they have to win this game. This is a huge game for them. It's a big game for both teams, but I'm going with the Bengals, and I'm playing them on the money line.
Okay, so you're going to give up that 2.5 and just go money line.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Joe Burrow. The guy's having another phenomenal year. I mean, coming off injury, look what he's doing. He's got a passer rating of 110. He's only thrown 2 picks this year, 14 touchdowns, got almost 1,800 yards. So, Joe's doing what Joe does best, and he's got some weapons. But
Imagine if he had a better offensive line.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, he's definitely one of the best young talents in the NFL. No, top 2 or top 3 for sure as far as quarterbacks. You could put him right in the mix with not Mahomes yet. No way, no how. But right after that, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. That next cuss down, he's right there in the top 2 or top 3.
Definitely.
And he always is when he's healthy. Anything else in the NFL you're looking at?
That's all I got.
That's
one
it?
play. Yeah.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, is that a best bet?
Well, it's my NFL bet. My best bet's still UCF. I know you think I'm crazy,
Okay.
but I love that UCF team this week. I just think that line just makes no sense. But I do like the Bengals here to cover against the Eagles.
You going to the game? Aren't you alumni there?
I am, but no, I'm not going there.
He's too busy working.
I always say this. Saturday is my busiest day of the week. I'm off Monday and Tuesday. That's when I relax.
Take the private jet. You'll be home by
There you go.
home by 10 o'clock at night.
You got to take the TK Wins jet up there. See if he'll let you, borrow the plane. All right, let's move.
Air TK.
That's it, baby. Anything going on with TK on Sunday in the NFL? Best bet? Anything showing up?
I'm with Teddy. I'm just playing one game for the show on the NFL. I'm going to go on the Carolina-Denver game. Denver's -9, 43.5. Carolina is just horrible against the spread. They're 1-8 their last 9 against the spread. And you got to look at Denver, 4-1 against the spread their last 5. They're 6-0 against the spread in week 8. I'm looking for Bo Nix to have a monster game. Look for Denver to win this game by 15 plus here on Sunday afternoon.
So you think Bo Nix going to have a big?
He's going to light it up.
Can't go wrong betting against the Panthers, right?
Yeah, they're just horrible.
You can't go
1-8
wrong.
their last 9 against the spread. I mean,
what do you think of that game as far as scoring wise? You think it's going to be a high scoring game or?
Well, it depends on the defense here. I think Surtain's questionable for Sunday.
Mhm.
I mean, he's a big part of their defense. But, Denver could put up some big numbers themselves just against Carolina.
Yeah,
Not touching the total. But
Denver's a finicky team for me. I mean, it's like they can show up on defense or they can pop offense. I mean, it's, I guess playing totals with them is a little difficult. But, they're playing at home. Like you say, they're playing against Carolina, who's, I don't know what the deal is there. It's like a second-class citizen type team at this point in the NFL. So I think you
and Andy Dalton he's okay, but he got in a car accident.
I saw
Did he?
that.
Yeah.
His wife and the dog.
He was with his family.
How about this Baltimore-Cleveland game? Deshaun Watson's out. He's injured. Jameson Winston's making a start. What did he get fined for? Did anybody see that? I already got fined.
Who?
Winston?
Yeah, Winston. He did something.
No,
I don't know
I
what
didn't
happened.
see.
He's starting, I think, on Sunday against
He
Baltimore.
started last week. I thought they
Watson's
took
hurt.
They
Yeah,
took
he's
Watson
hurt.
out.
He's out. He's hurt.
Yeah, $250 million already.
NFL
Well, his Achilles is done.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, he's toast. Deshaun Watson's hurt.
I don't think Deshaun Watson at his best, unless he was at his best, could help that Cleveland. That franchise, it seems like they always just can't put the right pieces together there. It's crazy.
It's going to go down as a bad trade. Getting rid of Watson for Baker.
Yeah.
With the way Baker's playing right now.
Well, Baker's going to have some issues moving forward, losing his 2 best receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
He is.
You could see how depressed he looked after seeing Godwin go down there in the last 43 seconds.
Why was the guy even in the game? I mean, they were getting blown out. I mean, I don't understand.
They were trying. Listen, that's how it is sometimes, unfortunately. I got one play I really like on Sunday in the NFL. This is my team. I've been just riding with this guy, and I just feel he's going to show up and have a big game. I'm jumping all over Green Bay. I like Green Bay in this game against Jacksonville. I think Green Bay's just too much for Jacksonville at this point in time. And I think Jordan Love's going to have one of those games he's been missing out on, like a 4-touchdown, 350, 400-yard passing game. I think he could do it against a team like this. Jacksonville's no big deal. I mean, what did they do? They beat a New England team at the end of the day. I mean, New England, is getting beat by everybody. I just think that it's too much firepower there, and I think they're going to dominate the game. I think he's going to want to go in there and showcase and try to pour on a lot of points in this matchup. I don't see Jacksonville staying with them at all. I take Green Bay minus the 4 in this game. Jump all over them, guys. I think I'm giving you a gift.
It's a high total too.
Yeah, well, you could see I could see Love looking to have a bust-out type
That's
of
what
game.
I'm saying. The total shows that.
And I think, obviously Trevor Lawrence is going to want to, obviously throw the ball as well, try to stay in the same type of thinking as Jordan Love. But I just think the Green Bay's, just too strong on both sides of the ball. And I think they're looking for, this is the type of game that they could definitely use momentum-wise. I think they've won their last 3 in a row, looking to make it 4 in a row. So I like Green Bay, best bet, NFL. That's the only game I'm putting out Sunday. That's how much I like it.
You guys got a lot of college from us, not a lot of NFL. We're being very
NFL's tough.
It is.
NFL's tough.
It is. There's less games. The lines are tighter.
I squeaked out a win on Monday night with that late field goal on Arizona.
Arizona,
that was a squeaker in that game.
Seems to always be that way with these teams. But, the injuries in the NFL this year and the trades, it's funny. You guys want to know something funny? On my fantasy football team, all 3 of my main receivers got traded mid-season because they were having not so great seasons with the guy. So Devontae Adams I have on my team, Amari Cooper, and Hopkins, all on my fantasy team. They're all on new teams right now.
It's amazing, right? How out of nowhere, all these players are just moving and grooving in different directions. Oh, one other thing I did like on the game you mentioned between Philly and Cincinnati, I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. I think both these guys are going to try to showcase each other against one another. I think they're going to put up a lot of points in this game. I know the defense for Cincinnati's been better the last couple. First 5, you couldn't find them. The last couple that they've been tightening it up a little bit against the Giants. And last week was Cleveland, right? They played Cleveland?
Yeah, last week.
Right. So I think they're going to go back to their old ways. They're going to kind of open it up a little bit. So I think that game has a potential to go over. It's not a big play for me, but I think that game could definitely go over 47 on the Eagles and Cincinnati game.
Especially if the Eagles can find their passing game.
Anything else you guys want to talk about the NFL, or you want to move into some NBA a little bit?
Well, one thing in the NFL, how good did Aaron Rodgers look on Sunday night?
Oh, he looked so great.
He looked great, huh? Those receivers out there, he couldn't do nothing.
I was ready to call Ben up and bring him in. Ben, our producer, I was going to bring in the third quarter. I think it was time for Ben to replace Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, but I told you the Jets are a team that makes you scratch your head and go, things that make you go home. That's definitely the New York Jets.
Yeah, well, at least the officiating is getting a little better in the NFL last week. If you watch the officials, not a lot of bad calls last week.
Oh, so there was no fixed games last week?
No, they're all, there's some fixed games out there. I shouldn't say that.
Ben, but, TK thinks all these games are fixed.
Only when I lose, they're fixed.
Yeah, there you go.
Aaron Rodgers has disappointed me so much. I've been rooting for him. I'm trying to push for him.
He's got all these weapons. What the hell?
Gets Devontae. He's got, Lazard, who plays solid for him, and Garrett Wilson plays solid. But I don't know and even Breece Hall he's got the weapons. I mean, he doesn't have much of an but I was looking at plays where Aaron Rodgers was getting 3-4 seconds to get rid of the ball, and there were guys open, and he wasn't hitting them.
Yeah, he's just you know what it is with these guys. They think they're so unbeatable that they force the ball like that play before the halftime. The Jets are up 9. They're moving down. They can put themselves in a position to be up 12 or even 15 or 16, and he forces the ball. They intercept it, and the whole game turns around. I mean, so here you are thinking you're going to be up at least 9 or maybe even double digits going to halftime with the Jets. Now the game becomes, what was it, like a 3-point game at half, and then they lost all the momentum.
It was all over from there.
Low at second half.
What are you guys thinking about Russell Wilson? First half looks bad. Second half comes in, looks good.
Yeah, he looked terrible in the beginning, didn't he? He
looked terrible, but then he turned it around.
Yeah, he needed a little confidence. He got a little confidence. Aaron Rodgers made him even more confident by making mistakes, giving him more possessions. And in the NFL, let's face it, guys, the more possessions you have on offense, you got a chances to score. And if you keep the ball in your corner, you're going to beat your opponent by taking advantage of their mistakes.
Does Justin Fields ever see the field again? They've been calling him Justin No Fields.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Speaking of your undefeated teams, Minnesota losing last week to Detroit.
Yeah,
I saw a story about that kicker. He was working selling something. I don't know what he was doing as his job, and they called him up, and he comes in basically. Kicks that winning field goal against Minnesota. I forgot what job he was doing, but
I saw that he was selling like cars or tires or something.
What he was doing. Yeah, I put out Minnesota on the money line on the show, but I could see the script coming, like he says. You could see the soap opera coming with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. Minnesota, it's up 29-28. They don't move the ball. They have to kick it back to Detroit. You could just see the handwriting on the wall that they're going to give him the ball. They're going to find the way to drive down and get in position, kick the winning field goal, and bye-bye.
Just like the Raiders today.
It's almost crazy, but it happens so much if you look at it.
Raiders down by 8. They go down there, kick a field goal, cover the spread. That was a crazy ending of that one, too.
Even Green Bay against Houston. I mean, they stop them. They force. They're down 2, or what was it, 2 or 1, whatever the case may be, against Houston. They kick the ball, back to Love. He drives down the field, and they get the winning field goal, the last play of the game. I mean, it seems to happen a lot more if you think about it than you can imagine. Really,
and than it used to. A
on
lot
these
more
close
than it
games.
used to.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what TK said. When you got a team down 8, 9, 20, and they're kicking field goals to cover a spread, like in that Oregon game that we liked a couple weeks ago, TK.
Yeah, that was.
I just don't understand these coaches kicking these field goals.
It's crazy because some do and a lot of them don't, and then you try to figure out that's got to be part of your thinking, patterns too, guys. With games, if you think they're going to be coming close to a number, you got some of these coaches that go for it on 4th down and long. Some don't. Some will, go for the field goal versus going for the 1st down. So there's so many variables inside. It's like a chess match inside the game. That's what makes it really difficult. If you think about it, for the average guy that's really not looking at these things that we kind of look at, we try to see how these teams have patterns and stuff. I mean, it makes it really hard as far as trying to beat the point spreads.
Absolutely.
Don't you agree?
Speaking of coaches, I'm jumping off the subject a little bit. What do you think about the Miami Dolphins coach? You think he's any good at all? Or he just shows up to the game on Sunday in his sweatsuit and his sneakers and his watch and his glasses and sits on the sidelines? He's just horrible coach.
I'm not going to mention names, but I speak to people that know people, pretty much, around the Dolphin organization. Not per se in the organization, just like around it, that know players and stuff. They don't really feel comfortable with him. They're saying you're seeing
he needs to go back to drinking is what I think.
Yeah, I don't know about this Mike McDaniel, to be honest.
I'm just thinking about that right now.
He was like a guy who quit drinking.
I mean, it's real easy when you have all this talent. You don't really need too much. I mean, sometimes you obviously got to manage the game and try to keep these guys' heads in the game. But it just seems like when he lost his pieces, he lost everything.
I mean, you got Hill. I don't even think Hill had a couple receptions in the first quarter at all in that game.
Waddle's nowhere to be found. Tyreek is nowhere to be found. Their running game is shot. I mean, the only thing that's really shown up a little bit, is their defense has been pretty decent. I mean, considering under the circumstances. But yeah, as far as Mike McDaniel, I don't know. I say he's an average coach at best.
Average. And their favorite at home this week, 4 points against Arizona.
All right.
Kyler Murray coming off that big win. I mean, I'm not using the game, but I don't see Miami winning.
Was that? Boy, that was like a really boring game. It was like last man standing with that game between the LA Chargers and Arizona on the Monday night. Seemed like it was just a field goal game going back. Pretty tough defensive game, but Arizona found a way to pull it out and get the job done.
It's kind of funny
at the end again.
It's kind of funny going back to what TK said. Like 1 year ago today,
yep,
people thought they thought genius. He was like the cat's meow, as my grandparents used to say.
Right. Yeah, they did. They thought he was a genius, but listen, you lose one of your best players, if not your best, the quarterback.
Now, is he coming back this week?
He's supposedly coming back.
He's playing this week, right?
Who? Oh, Tua. Tua.
You got him all nervous over there. You got him all nervers.
I just daydream.
He's thinking about plays. He's not thinking about.
I think Tua gets sacked. He'll break a fingernail or get a concussion, and then he'll be going back to somebody else.
All right, guys. Before we wrap it up, because I think we touched base on pretty much everything, I just want to get your take. No picks or anything like that. NBA is here. I know Teddy's not the greatest fan of the NBA. First time ever we saw a father and son play on the same court. If you watched that game last night, you saw also Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr., which was the only father and son, combination that played in baseball. They were phenomenal. But I don't know. What's your take on this Bronny James I mean, you think this kid's going to make the roster?
My opinion, if his dad wasn't in the NBA, he wouldn't be in the NBA. That's my opinion.
Really?
I don't think he's a good player. I know the Lakers covered last night. I think they were a 1-point dog or 1-point favorite at home last night.
I think they were.
covered.
Yeah, they were +1.
Yes, and they
And
won by-
JJ Redick's first game too. There was a lot of hype going into that game with LeBron, his son, JJ Redick, but Anthony Davis was a beast of. He was a beast of.
One thing I want to do
Oh.
this year, if we got to do, I want to go back to Boston to the Garden and watch another Celtics game because they looked amazing last night.
Yeah.
To me, that'd be my pick to win the NBA championship, or at least to win the East, the Boston Celtics. I think they're 3-1 to win the championship. I jump on Boston on that.
They
one.
were so dominant
They're
last
dominant.
season. They were so dominant.
Well,
They
look
pretty
at the
much have
play,
all the
yeah.
same pieces.
Yeah, they got the same pieces. I mean, they got great role players all over, and they got great bench players. I mean, this team is stacked. I mean, I don't know, unless
And a great
obviously
coach, too.
injuries. Yeah, got a good coach, solid coach.
The only team I picked to beat them, maybe OKC. OKC's got a real good team this year.
You think so?
Yeah, they should be blowing teams out this year, OKC.
But the problem with teams like that, they don't have the experience per se. They got there a little bit last year, but then when the chips came to the end, they fell apart in the playoffs. Where the Celtics, they got that experience and they got a lot of great role players. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. We're going to start putting out games in the NBA real soon. We're checking things out. Obviously, you guys are watching it day to day.
Yep.
So we're going to start putting out some selections probably in the NBA as early as next week or the week after. And we got the World Series like we talked about. I'm liking the Yankees to win the series on the money line. Excuse me, not on the money line.
I'll
on
take the
series
Dodgers.
bet.
You want to bet dinner on that one? I'll take the Dodgers in the series.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's put up 100 right
I'll
now.
throw up
Because
100.
last time I bet this guy, I don't think I got the chain yet.
I think
did
you should
this?
have Ben hold it. Here, Ben.
There we go.
There you go.
We got
Listen,
$100
a friendly $100.
Yankees.
For these guys, they're professionals, so
That'd be cheaper than going to dinner with me.
$100 isn't a big deal. It's probably cheaper than dinner.
Yeah.
There you go,
Well,
Ben.
All right, Ben.
Now
Woohoo!
Ben's going to take that 200.
And he's going.
He's going to invest it
He's
for
probably
the
going to
next 2
Vixens.
weeks into something short term.
He's going to go to hijinks and have some drinks with the girls over
Yeah,
there.
come to the bar tonight, Ben, and buy me some drinks.
There you go.
I'll be at the Heat game tonight, so make it tomorrow night.
All right, guys. We had a great show. I think we touched base on everything. Anybody want to add anything before we go? We good to go.
I want to add one quick thing. I've been talking to a lot of guys lately, and we hear this a lot, and we see this a lot. Oh, I played basketball, so I know how to bet basketball. I just need help with football and hockey. Or I played football. I just need help with this sport. Guys, 2 of the greatest basketball players, most famous basketball players of all time, Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan, when it came to betting, were 2 of the biggest losers that there were. So playing a sport, it's a big fallacy. People think if I play the sport, I know how to bet that sport. Guys, just still come to us for those sports. Playing a sport has no correlation. Let me repeat this. Playing a sport has no correlation with being able to bet that sport. Keep that in mind.
I agree 1,000% because I've seen experiences like that. It's just because you played it doesn't mean you can pick it and beat the point spread. Believe me, it's not as easy as it appears. Yes, I agree with that one 1,000%. Even with horse racing, used to be around little inner circles with jockeys. Jockeys were the worst at giving information out. You think that they would know better than anyone. At the end of the day.
Who was the jockey we used to hang out with at the bar at Gulfstream? He used to come all the time. I can't remember his name. He used to sit there in the paddock area. Can't remember his name.
Oh, yeah.
He gave me a lot of losers. A lot of losers.
Was he an older guy?
He was a younger kid. I can't remember.
Shane
his name.
Sellers?
That's him, Shane Sellers.
Yeah, he was one of the top jockeys in the nation at that time back at Gulfstream, actually leading jockey. Guys, don't fall for that stuff just because you played the sport. And I got to second that with Teddy because I've recently, seems like it's coming in more and more. I don't know if it's because social media, but guys say, oh, no, I coach high school basketball or I coach this sport, so I know the sport. I don't need you guys for that.
I need you for this sport.
That's not true, guys, because we're adding an added edge into what we do and looking at every aspect of it. It's not about coaching. You're not gonna try to match up high school sports to professional when you're betting on these games. So yeah, you got to kind of just trust us and follow our system. Hey, we're not going to be right all the time, but at the end of the day, we try to stay consistent And when you're consistent, that builds a bankroll. All right, guys, great show. We're running a little late, but I wanted the audience to know where they can find the one and only. Look at this guy, ladies and gentlemen, with that beautiful shirt on. He's shining up the room here. The one and only Tommy King Jr. from TK Wins. Where can they find your stuff on a daily basis?
The best place to find me is go right to my website, tkwins.com. We got our plays up there daily. And you can always check us out on Instagram as well, at TK Wins. We put our free play up there daily. Come check us out.
How's the picks been going lately?
Picks were all right last week. Actually, having a great October. A little faded in the NFL last weekend, but I think all the sharp guys faded a little bit in the NFL on Sunday. But it's been a great year so far.
All right, let's keep it going. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, my man, Teddy Brooks, the CEO, Sports Prov. Where can they find you out there?
Going to that great Instagram page, The Real, The True, The Tried, _profits_pick, no S or anything else after pick. It stops after the K. Go to www.thesportsprofits.com. We're going to have 4 to 6 articles up there every day, along with our YouTube videos and all that good stuff. And then you could, of course, go to the youtube.com/@thesportsprofits.
How's the games been treating you?
The free games going back to the beginning of August, that's almost a 3-month, almost a whole quarter of a year, are above 70%.
Wow.
College football and NFL kind of 50-50 last week, just like they were on the show. But we're coming with a big bounce back week this week.
All right, you heard it, guys. We're looking at 50-some plus years right here with these two gentlemen, experience when it comes to the sports betting.
80 total at the table, though.
Yeah, well.
Because can't forget about you.
That's right. All right, guys, I'm Scott Matthews. I host this great show, Get the Edge. Remember, get the edge. Why do we say that? Because we're looking to give you the edge, the winning edge. And you could check out our show on all podcast forums. All the podcast forums, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel, Get the Edge Sports Podcast. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, become a member. You could check out all the things we do here each and every day. We're just looking to give you the best advice we possibly can. And check me out on social media, on TikTok, which is SM Picks, P-I-C-K-S. SM Picks. If you want to reach me, you can shoot me a DM, and I'll be glad to get back to you. Or check me out on Instagram, SM Sports Picks, P-I-C-K-S. Have a great day today. Best of luck with all these games going on right now. Stay focused. We'll catch you back here next week on our next episode of Get the Edge.
Big bounce back week this week.
Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom.
You hear that crackle?
Yep.
You getting the crackle? A little loud, a little loud.
Woo.